So how do you create personal signature stories? The first is carve out clear areas of incompetence. By the way, these were all completely inspired by our family, and my father in particular. Be sneaky, seek highs and lows, and bank your stories. It's fine if they're brief and pithy. So that's what I want to talk about today. The first thing is carve out clear areas of incompetence. I think it's fair to say, Tommy, that Dad has done an extraordinarily good job of carving out these clear areas of incompetence. Early days, he never took a picture. I don't think he's ever actually taken a picture. This is my mom taking a picture of me being held by my dad. He's very good at holding people. He's good at picking clothing. He's not great at actually taking a picture. Very clear in social settings, not good at that. He's also not great at elegant eating. So like if you are at a dinner party and you might have like a muffin over here, very good chance you might have a nibble of it, and also maybe like have some disastrous unintended consequences. Now this sounds like I'm making fun of Dad. I'm not making fun of Dad. He is a genius. He is a genius. My husband, Andy Smith, is he here? All right. My husband, Andy Smith, is also a genius. I find a lot of men in my life are geniuses in this way. So carving out clear areas of incompetence, if I could just share a quick story. So Andy, when we got married early on, I decided I wasn't going to be that 7-year-old grandma who took out the garbage. I really wanted my husband to do that. And in the first week of marriage, whoever takes out the garbage first is basically going to take out the garbage for the rest of their life. So I knew that. I'm no dummy. Got Dad as my dad. And so I said, would you take out the garbage? And he said, yeah, absolutely, I would. So when it didn't go out, I thought that was curious, but I wasn't worried. I said, probably used words to describe what I wanted. I'll put a calendar request on his calendar, and he will accept it, and then it will go out. So when it didn't go out, I thought that was weird. So I updated the task request on his Google Calendar, and I said, garbage goes out, happy face, exclamation point, in case he was conditioned as a young child to think that garbage going out is a negative thing. I was going to classically condition him to believe it was a positive thing. And so he accepted that update, and it didn't go out. And so I said, what's going on? Like, why is the garbage not going out? I don't know how to be more clear. And he goes, I would like to take out the garbage, but I'm very confused. Like, what time does it go out? Does it go out on the right-hand side of the driveway or the left-hand side of the driveway? And after they pick it up, when do I take it in, or I take out the garbage? Our kids take out the garbage. Other people take out the garbage now, but it's beautiful. Carving out clear areas of competence not only gives you stories, but it also reduces the amount of time you actually have to do work. So what I've done, by the way, once I learned these techniques from other people, is I decided to actually carve out incompetence around cooking. So not only do I not cook, the few times I do cook and I burn myself, I take a picture and I post it on social media so that people can be clear, I don't cook. This is what happens when I cook. All right, the second, be sneaky and then brand things. In one study, we asked individuals, what's your happiest childhood memory? We asked parents, we asked kids, and these are the types of answers that were revealed in the study. Constructing leaf forests with my brother, our family read day the day after Christmas, fishing for tadpoles with Jane in the summer, dancing to Michael Jackson's Beat It with my friends, our Linda Evangelista spring cleaning fashion shows, and special days. I said actually special days. So let me tell you what special days are. Special days are when Dad took Jan or Joe or I when we were young, and basically we were on a need-to-know basis. So, where are we going to go? He was not going to tell us. And so, but he would want to do certain things, like he'd want to go to the Cal game, but we wouldn't want to go, so he'd call it a special day. And so he wouldn't tell us where we're going to go. We're just going to go on a special day, and we were so excited. Oh my God, it's a special day. And then we would arrive at Cal Berkeley and we'd have pom-poms, get them there and cotton candy at the time and stuff. And it actually ended up being like ridiculously memorable, a fantastic story. And actually, I'm here right now talking about it. And so he was sneaky in very systematic ways, and then he would brand them as special days. I mean, it's genius, right? He probably took us on 5. Baum, who did way more stuff with us, no offense, did not brand those things as special days, and now we remember the special days. Third, seek highs and lows. So when you think of personal signature stories, you're really not thinking of like, I was winning, won, got the promotion, whatever. You're really thinking about highs and lows. These are the opportunities for stories, right? So when Dad says intriguing, authentic, involving, a big piece of that is feeling like you're going on a high and a low, and so you're designing these roller coasters. And that makes sense, right? Because when we see movies like James Bond, they all have highs and lows. The arc here is, wow, what happened? I don't know. He gets the girl. And every single James Bond film, has that arc. Or Jurassic Park, what's going on? T-Rex. What's going on? Big T-Rex. What's going on? Big T-Rex. So arcs don't have to be sophisticated, they just have to have some highs and lows. Or Casablanca, which has these like sort of micro story themes in it. And so when you're finding signature stories for yourself, or your family, or your life, you're looking for those highs and lows, which is a really exciting way to actually raise kids, for example. Because when the lows hit, it's going to be a great story. And if you can have a comedic lens, that allows them to take risks, and you don't take things so seriously. It also allows you to sort of document things. So I wanted to mention that Disneyland is, as I think we can all agree, the worst place ever. Very, very unhappy place, but most people don't remember that because they don't take pictures of like the unhappy moments. We do. And we also write it up in our holiday card. I'll share one from a few years back. Cooper, one of our sons, wrote, "A highlight of the year, Disneyland. We prepared for the trip for weeks, filling our jean pockets with cookies for sustenance and brushing up on our Disneyland history. On arrival, though, we found that the parking was painful, tickets expensive, lines long. On the upside, my dad found an iPhone app with a GPS-driven map, ranked attraction checklist, and crowdsourced wait time guide to get us around the park strategically, optimizing our fun while minimizing lines. Unfortunately, the iPhone died in 30 minutes. Necessity forced us to try something arguably better, a cleverly color-coded, conveniently foldable, pocket-sized tool. It's called a map. It's provided by Disneyland. It's amazingly free, the only free thing at Disneyland. So that was fortuitous. On the way out, we met Sandra, our au pair, and Tea Sloane, our sister, outside the haunted house, where Sandra was shaking from heat stroke. Being a doctor, my mom recommended she eat some grapes. Seconds later, Sandra's body decided to put the grapes in reverse. We left with Sandra to find a place with less bad advice and fewer bystanders. She slept the entire car ride home, and we were required to be silent for the whole time, so it ended up on a up note. We can't wait to go back. So now the question is, why would you seek highs and lows? Why? I know Disneyland's awful. Why would I go with my family? Besides, they're my family and I should go. What's actually experienced is, you get there to Disneyland and then you get in lines and you don't realize how long they are. And then you get to, Small World, which is branded the happiest place on earth. True, I'm not sure. But then you take a picture of Devon literally crying, which I always find hilarious. And then they're tired, Cooper and Devon are twins, are on Andy's lap, fatigued. But then you get the fireworks, and then you forget the cotton candy all over their face, and Taya's a mess, and our au pair is throwing up. But you just remember the end, right? You remember the peak, and you remember the end, and that has disproportionate impact. So if we seek highs and lows, if we design for memories rather than just experience, we'll cultivate a life of story. And last, bank your stories, even if they're short and pithy. We talk a lot about sort of 6-word stories, and I find this to be a really, powerful tool. Larry Smith and others have actually generalized this concept, but it was really born by Hemingway, who once wrote, "Baby shoes for sale, never worn." So I make my students in the Power of Story class write 6-word stories to describe their lives, and you all shared stories. So we're going to share a few of these stories that you, I'll just have you look at them and see if we could have a little, vote on which one's best. Dad, which one did you say you liked? There's a few that you really liked.
I like the MBA theater.
The MBA theater?
Get lucky once, twice.
Get lucky once, twice?
Yeah, and ambition with purpose.
Yeah, Robert Chalwani, who's not here but had a huge impact, just huge impact on my life. For the 2 years I was at Haas, he led to The Dragonfly Effect, was a book that Andy and I wrote together with Carly Adler. I also Married the Wrong Girl, Fixed It. But the best was Kay Aaker. So Kay, you get the award for best 6-word story. We got it here. Thank you, Rich. And for the others, we're going to have 3 runners-up, which we will tell you about later, and you will get some books. Aaker on branding. These 6-word stories are really important. You can do them in the day. You can have your kids do them at night. You can, instead of having a conversation about what you did today over the dinner table, you could have a conversation about what story was unlocked. And how many of you have soulless conversations at the dinner table about what you do today? Or what are you going to do tomorrow? That was one thing. You were always, Dad, so averse to us talking about logistics. But that's what defines our life. It's to-do lists oftentimes. It's logistics. It's goals that we think are really important. But what actually defines our lives are the stories. And if you think of your wedding, if you had one, or potentially, someday you might die, and the memorial that you might have, what are the stories that are shared? It's not a set of lists. It's not a set of things that you accomplished. It's the stories that others remember about you. So bank the stories, even if it's 6 words or less. And bank those stories that are distinct, that make you or your family truly distinct, bold, and so you take risks that are relevant to different audiences. Dad talked a lot about authenticity and truth. We're living in a time right now where there's a significant trust deficit. We don't trust necessarily our politicians. We don't trust oftentimes leaders, and it's not just the finance industry, it's everywhere. But what people trust is people they know, people whose story they believe in. And so cultivating those stories becomes really, really important, and codifying them and capturing them does as well. These bold stories, these memorable stories so that they stick over time, stories that are shareable so that they can spread and garner action, and stories that depict something larger, something meaningful. So I just wanted to end with one of my favorite quotes. Tell me the truth, facts, and I'll learn. Tell me the truth and I'll believe. But tell me a story and it will live in my heart forever. Thank you.